Hey guys, welcome to the 30 Days to Learn Adobe After Effects course. My name is Vincent Nguyen, and today in this lesson we're going to be discussing expressions within After Effects. I know it sounds pretty scary, but it's actually not as bad as you think, and I just want to introduce you guys to expressions and how to apply and write them within After Effects. So here in After Effects, I have a fractal noise layer which is currently shut off, and I have a text layer called wiggle. Now I'm going to apply an expression to this wiggle text. Now, you can apply an expression to pretty much any parameter that has a stopwatch. So if the parameter is keyframeable, then you can apply an expression to it. So for an example, I'm going to hit P on the keyboard to bring up the position of the wiggle. And this is just, again, the coordinates to position of the text layer here in our 2D space. And you see we have the stopwatch here. You can apply an expression by holding the Alt or Option key and hitting on the stopwatch. So again, hold Alt or Option and click on the stopwatch icon here, and it's going to bring up the expressions for the parameter position here. And we'll just ignore this for now. We'll talk about parenting and pick whipping a little bit later. But here we have a text dialog or text box where we can type in our expression. So I'm going to introduce you guys to two expressions today that will be very useful, that you'll be using quite a bit in your work, and it's going to save you a lot of time. Now I'm going to type in wiggle, and that's going to wiggle the parameter, in this case the position. I'm going to hit the open parentheses here, and I'm going to type in 1, comma, and let's just say 150, close parentheses here. So what this is doing is it's wiggling the parameter, so it's kind of adding randomness to this parameter right here, the position. And the first value here is the frequency, so how many times a second is it going to do it? In this case we have 1, so it's going to wiggle 1 time a second. The second value here is by how much, or the amount. In this case 150 pixels here. So if I just hit away, you'll see that without any keyframes, our text is going to wiggle. Now you may think this is pretty stupid. Why in the world would you wiggle some text? Well, you probably won't wiggle some text, but you probably wiggle a lot of stuff like maybe lens flares, or maybe you want to add some flickering. We can apply this wiggle to the opacity. So I'm going to copy this expression here by hitting Command or Control C. And I'll just go hit T on the keyboard to bring up the opacity here. And again, we'll hold down Alt on the PC or Option on the Mac and hit on the stopwatch while clicking it. And then we have the expressions for the opacity. I'm going to paste the expression in. And because the opacity max is 100%, we'll just change this to maybe 60, and you'll see what it does here. You can see that it's kind of flickering our opacity for the text here. So it's just really handy. Of course, you want to play around with these values to make it a little more useful, make it look a little bit more pretty in my opinion, but kind of get the idea. That's how you apply an expression. That's how you write a very simple expression. And again, this expression will be very handy for you if you want to add some random movement, because no one wants to keyframe, randomly moving text or randomly moving opacity. It's just a lot easier to write a quick expression to randomize the opacity position, etc. So we're pretty much done with the wiggle expression. I want to show you one more expression using the fractal noise. I'm going to turn off the wiggle text, turn on the fractal noise effect, and I just want to go to the fractal noise here. And we're going to ignore all these stuff, and we're just going to focus on the evolution here. And what the evolution does is it animates and adds evolution, hence the name, to our fractal noise. So pretty much what it does is it just animates it randomly like that. So we can animate this. We can hit a keyframe stopwatch for the evolution. We can move forward, and then we can change it, and then we do a RAM preview, and it's going to animate by itself, and that's pretty cool. But what happens if your composition is going to change? What if we go into the composition settings and change the duration to 20 seconds? Well, that means we have to first extend our layer to the end here. Hit U on the keyboard to show all the keyframes. We gotta drag this keyframe all the way over here. And then because it's longer, we need to change the value to a larger number here to compensate for the longer time here. So then we got to increase this value right here. And you know, it doesn't seem that tedious at first, but if you have tons and tons of layers to do this for, it can get very painstaking. So we can actually animate this thing automatically by making it increase decrease at a easier rate, I would say. So I'm going to delete these keyframes. So how do we animate the evolution here without any keyframes? Well, we can go apply an expression here. So hold down Alt or Option, click on the stopwatch for the evolution. And then we can type in time, asterisk key, which is kind of the star key, Shift 8. And then we'll type 120. And what that's going to do, it's going to multiply the time right here by 120. And we'll apply that value to the evolution here. So as you can see, it animates by itself without any keyframes. And if you want a faster change, you can always increase the increment from maybe 120 to 300 and such, and that's going to give us a lot more rapid change. And I always use this expression with any effect or plugin that has the evolution option, just because it's so much easier to give your live movements using an expression rather than keyframing. I like to use expressions when I can because they're a lot faster and saves you time. And hopefully you'll realize that too. In the future, we will be taking a look at more advanced, powerful expressions that would do a lot more work than just, multiplying the time by 300. But again, we'll talk about that a little bit later. This has just been a really basic introduction to expressions, how to write them, how to apply them. And we took a look at two really useful expressions that you will use quite a bit in your workflow, or hopefully, I hope you will. So in the next lesson, we're going to be talking about the graph editor. Now that we took a look at expressions, now that we took a look at keyframes and animation, we're ready to see the visualization of keyframes and the visual aspects of animation here. So we'll take a look at that next time. Once again, guys, my name is Vincent Nguyen. If you guys have any further questions, leave the comments in the forums. I'll get to them as soon as I can. And I'll see you guys in the next lesson. Bye, guys.